Hey, it's Dawn here, and in this week's video we are going to be taking a look at using conditional logic in your flow so that you can welcome people back. So when you've built a flow inside of ManyChat, then what this is going to show you how to do is not just have people come back and give them the exact same message time and time again. What we're actually going to go through is how you can say, hey, welcome back. We know that you did X, Y, and Z last time. How can we help you further? So that's what we're going to be diving into today. So let me just make this slightly smaller and pop myself up there. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with basic, and then I'll just give you a look into this. And by no means, this is not majorly advanced, but there's a little bit more of a thought pattern that has to go behind this in order to then add multiple pieces of conditional logic. So I will go through that, but if you're quite new to ManyChat or building bots and you're not yet adding any form of conditional logic into your bots, I really want to help you start from something that is really simple to do and that you can maybe then go back, have a look at all the flows that you've currently got built. I've got hair in my mouth. And then you can think, okay, I could put a welcome back message on that one. And so if people are coming back, especially when you've got things connected to the main menu inside of your bot, you might find that people are sometimes coming back and they're clicking on it again. So having something that recognizes that they've been there the first time and they're now a returning user of the bot, then it's just nice. It just makes it a more meaningful, piece of communication that you're sending back to them. The conversation's more relevant, and it just makes for a much nicer experience for the end user. So we're going to dive in and do something very basic to start with. So what I want you to imagine is that you have built, so let's just say this is all you've got right now. I'm going to build this from scratch. You've got your very first message where you're saying, hey, this is basically, it's your new lead gen flow is in here, and you're saying, hey, welcome, blah, blah, blah. And then what we want to be able to do is we want to say, welcome back. How can we help you further? Or whatever that is. I've just kept this very, very basic. So in order to build this, let's start from scratch. So I just wanted to show you a very basic setup where we've just had conditional logic. We've asked ManyChat and said, hey, tell us whether somebody has been tagged with this tag before. If they have, then they're a yes. And if they're a yes, that means they're going to go up here and they're going to go into this flow. I can't even speak. It's so hot in here right now. And if it's a no, then we know that they've never been here before because this is the tag. Okay, this is the tag that somebody would get the very, very first time that they're going to go into your flow. So let's start from scratch and I'll show you how this works. So let me just come out of here and we'll just do another one. So we create a new flow and we're going to call this demo for conditional logic. So this is your very first starting message. This is what you would get when you first build your flow. Now, this is where we want to put our first message. So in here, we're just going to say, this is your first message. Like I say, it's quite basic. I'm not going to go and write a load of script on this. I just want you to understand where you need to put the conditional logic and why you need to do this. So this is your first message that you're going to build. Then what we want to do is we want to give it a tag. But the tag is going to sit here. Okay, so let's pull that over there. Now, again, when I've spoken to people and I've done one-to-ones and things, then not everybody knows that this actually moves. We always assume, or I always assume sometimes that, everybody knows that. But depending on where you are on your bot building journey, this could be something, that's completely new and you didn't even realize that you could move that. So please know that that does actually move, and then you would drop that to wherever you need it to be as the actual starting step. So what we do is we connect that to there. And then what we're actually going to do here is we're going to give this a tag. So I'll use the tags that we've already got. So demo, this is conditional logic tag, and we're going to put that there. So now this is really great because what we know is whenever anybody comes through this flow, they're always going to be tagged with this particular tag or any tag that you have. And that means that when you're looking through your stats as well, and you want to see how many people actually came through this specific flow whatever it is, whether it's for local lead gen, whether it's webinars, or whatever it is that you're building, at least by having a tag at the beginning, you know that somebody has been through there, and you are able to track and see how many people are actually coming through. So this is where then we want to add our conditional logic. So again, we go to here, or you can double tap to open this, and then we tap the condition. And this is where now, oops, let me just move that over here. And we're going to put the conditional logic at the beginning, because it wouldn't make sense to put this there or anywhere else. It has to be the very first starting step. And the reason why it has to be the first starting step is we need to ask the software, ManyChat, a question before we give anybody any information, first of all. So what we're actually asking is, in this section, we open this up, if it opens. So when this decides it's going to open, it says, does the user match all of the following or any of the following? So we're just going to keep that on all of the following, because we just got one question that we're going to ask it. And you've got all these different things that it could match up to. Again, you've got custom fields and all sorts of different things. You've got gender and language and all sorts, but we're going to use tagging, okay, in this particular instance. So again, think about how you could use this for all other types of things as well. But for tagging, what we're saying is this tag here. So demo logic. So we're saying, does the user match this particular tag? So now we've got the tag, we've got a yes or no. So if it's a yes, then they're going to go into a different message. If it's a no, then we just attach it to here, and they're going to go through this flow, and we move this starting step, and we make sure that that is on top of the condition. Okay. So the starting step is we're asking it a question to start with. If it's a no, then it goes here. And so you imagine if that tag, let's just take this off for now. If you ever want to delete anything, hover and you can delete. Now imagine if we had this tag here, and I've seen people do this as well, because they've just maybe just not thought it through properly. So we've had this here, and we go, okay, conditional logic, is the tag this, yes or no? Now guess what's going to happen? Everybody is going to go into yes, because everybody has been tagged to start with, and then we're asking the question. Okay, so this is not good for returning customers or people who are coming through, because they're always going to be tagged with, they're always going to go to yes. It's just that's just what's going to happen. So the condition has to go first. Okay, we have to ask the question first. So we put that back here. So let's start over there. So let's start again. Do they meet this tag? No, they don't. Then they get tagged. So it means that if they don't meet that tag, we know for a fact they've never ever been in this bot. If they had been in the bot, then they get tagged with a yes. Okay, so this is where we use this one here. So again, you can either get a new one, or I like to just sometimes duplicate and move that up there, and let's tag them again. You don't have to, but you are able to then look and see how many people are actually returning back into the bot. Okay, so not just for the first time, but people that are actually coming back. And you can look at those numbers as well and see how that looks. And it may be that you want to set something up, you know, like within 24 hours that says, hey, we noticed you came back, you didn't leave us any questions, or you didn't do anything. Is there anything we can help you with? So again, it's just that re-engagement piece and starting that conversation with somebody to get them to open up and help, and, you know, what is it that you can help them with? So we just get a new message here, and we attach this, and we say here, welcome back. And then whatever it is that you want to happen, oops, I'll just put, so this is our welcome, oops, gosh, spelled on, welcome back message. So there we go. That goes in there. Again, use emojis, make it so that, you know, like, and again, I'm not going to go into copy and stuff like that in this video, but do make sure that, you know, you're welcoming people back, maybe using the first name as well. Welcome back, use the first name. And also, you know, maybe using some emojis, put like a wave or whatever you want that to be. But using so that you've got something that's catching the eye as they're kind of coming through the bot, or use an image at the top there. So what we've got here now is we change this tag. So this is going to be our returning. So we'll just use that tag that we had earlier for the demo. So now what we've got is a very, very simple bot that's already set up. So imagine that you're at that point there, you've already got a bot set up, but what you haven't got is you just haven't got these connecting pieces here. So I would absolutely urge you to go back, have a look at what you're doing, add some tags at the beginning. So don't worry if you've not added them already. You can always go back and make a note of the date that you added the tag. you know, making, you know, do you know the date that you actually built the bot? So it's like, right, okay, we don't have 3 months worth of, you know, stats on how many people came through, but from this date onwards, we do know that X amount of people came through this flow. So again, that's the only bit that you need to really to add on to your bot if you want to make it just a really nice, simple conditional logic. So let me just dive into another one. So that's, you should be able to, you're good to go. Okay. So if you don't want to watch the rest of this video right now, you can pause it and go and get that going straight away. If you want to check out how you can then add multiple conditional logics to make the messaging even more relevant, then I'll just give you an example of a bot that I've got here. So this bot is our bot contractor database. So feel free to go through it if you are a bot builder. Doesn't matter whether you're just getting started or whether you're an absolute ninja. It would be great to hear from you because there's all types of people that come through and want something that's very basic to very, very complex. And we would sometimes either reach out to people and say, hey, we'd love to work with you, or we've got this referral. It's not quite for us and for our business and what we're doing, but we'd love to pass it over and give it to you. So by all means, add yourself to the bot database because this is what I'm going to show you now. So what we've got here is, so this is where, if you can see, we've got 3 pieces of conditional logic. And the first one being is, have they registered? Meaning, do we have their application form that was filled in via type form? So again, that's something else that I won't cover in this video, but we know that this message that somebody received was tagged, and they were tagged with database bot success. And that's a success message, meaning I know that they're on the database, and they would not have got that message if they hadn't have done multiple actions. So for me, straight away, as somebody comes through here, the first thing that I want to ask is, are they actually on the database already? And they might just be coming back through here because they might want to ask a question, or they might be thinking, oh, is there something new that's been added, or whatever that is. But if they do happen to come back through here, what we're doing is we're asking the question, is the tag this? And the answer is yes. If it's yes, we're tagging them as a return to flow, so that we know that they're returning back. And what we're saying is, welcome back. It looks like you've already registered your awesome bot building talent on our Ribbit contractor database. If you have a question, then please go ahead and type it below. And then we obviously, but we've got that in a user input. So just for our own sanity as well, so that we've got that. And inside of when we actually notify the admin, we've just picked up that custom field in there. So it means that I was able to just kind of go through and have a look. And it means that when I get a message, whatever that person's typed, then I will get that inside of there. Again, I won't cover that in here, but if you do ever want to be notified and it's something that you've not quite come across at the, you know, in your bot building journey, then all you do is, like I've just done there, you click on the action and then you go down here and you notify admin. Okay. And what that's going to do is you can choose who you want to send that to. Okay, so in other words, you're basically just going to get an email. So I'll just delete that, come out of there. So you would be notified when somebody's left a question. So again, very relevant. We know that that person, they don't need to go through anything else because they're on the database, and we just want, hey, are you okay? Moving on to this next conditional logic, what we're actually saying in this one is does the tag match all of these criteria? So what we're now saying is, have they been tagged with the bot start flow? So if you remember in that last, so imagine that this was our first one. If they haven't been tagged with the database bot start flow, then we know that they've never been in this bot. Okay. We know that they've never been through, therefore they can bypass anything up here. And these people are literally going to go straight down here. So they're going to go into here because we know that they haven't been tagged with the start flow, and they haven't also been, so the tag isn't the database bot success as well. So we know that anybody who comes through this flow, so what we're asking is, so I was right at the top as well, so you can see there, let me just zoom that in. I'll just move this down. God, it's so warm in here. If I'm starting to glow, that's why it's red hot. It's so sunny. Have they been through this flow before but not registered? Yes or no? So that's the question That's the hairdresser. So that's the question that we're asking now. We're saying, has the person been through the flow, but they haven't been, but they've not been registered as a success? So we know that they've been in here, but they're not on our bot database. So again, if it's a yes, if it's a no, then they're just going to go through, like I said, they're going to be a completely brand new person that comes through. If this person has been tagged with this, that means we know they've been in, they're not on the database. So we're saying, hey, welcome back. We noticed that you didn't register your bot talent on our bot contractor database. So we're saying welcome back because we know they've been tagged. We know they've been in here, but it isn't the bot success. So we know they're definitely not being registered because those people are already up there anyway. So in this instance, this is where you might be, if you're brand new, you might be going, oh my God, all this conditional logic, it's hurting my brain. But what I would advise is when you're setting up tags, think about the logic behind, what's the next viable step? What are you actually saying? If they've done this, but they haven't done that, where would we send them? If they have done this and they've done that, where do we send those people? What message do we give them? So there is a little bit of thought process that has to go behind this if you are building in conditional logic and making the bots relevant. But it's definitely worth doing. And even if you've got to kind of work a little bit on it, come back in an hour because they can actually drive you a little bit mad after a while. So we know that from this here, we know that they've been in, but they're not on the database. But we've needed to take it a little step further because in this flow, here we actually get people, we need their email address because we're actually in this particular flow, we're linking up the email address with other elements of things that they're going to be doing, like completing a type form, they're going into Trello. So we need a common denominator, and in this instance we're actually going to be using an email address. So inside of here we really need to make sure that we've got that email address. But what I don't want to do is, yes, you've been back here before. Let's get you started right back from the beginning, because again, that's not relevant. That's kind of, like, oh my God, I've been here before. Yes, I've been, but please don't send me back to that welcome message again. So what we're actually doing is we're going to kind of skip this because, they don't really need to know any of that stuff, because if they've been, they'll have read that anyway. But what we do really need is we need their email address. So the question we need to ask them is, have they been tagged with the bot start flow? So we still have to, so we're asking that, and have they been tagged with the email address? So if they have, then we know that if they've been tagged with the email address and they give us a yes, then it's, hey, it looks like you already gave us your email address. So the form to register your bot talents will be sat in your inbox. Be sure to check your promotion folder. In the next message, you can open up the PDF. So we're not going to send these people here to give us their email address again, because we know we've got it. So these people are actually going to get this message here, which is learning more. They can look in there, there's a PDF document, and they can just find out a little bit more about what it actually involves and what it entails. And that's relevant for them because they quite likely is they've probably not read it, or at least it's giving them somewhere. We're not telling them to give us their address again, basically. These people here, they didn't give us their email address. And we know that because this tag, let's zoom in, this tag here, if they'd have given us their email address, then they would have been tagged with that, which is like those people above. So if they've been tagged with the email address, we know that they've already submitted it. If they haven't, then obviously it's a no. And these are the people that are going to get this message. And it says, it looks like you didn't provide us with your email address. So let's help you to get started where you last finished off. Here you go. And then what we do is we drop them into this flow here, and they just pick up from basically where they last left off. So anybody that's coming back into this flow, what it's actually doing is we're making sure that we're not getting them to go through absolutely everything from start to finish. We're just kind of picking up where they last left off. So that is how you would make your bots relevant. And then we do also have rules set up as well. So if anybody comes through this kind of like the first time around, we are making sure that we're kind of picking them up as we go along. So with our rules that we've got set up in here, if somebody doesn't, after 5 minutes, if they have said, they've gone into the database, but they haven't been tagged with our email address, then basically what we're doing is we're sending them we're saying, hey, it looks like you didn't send us your email address. So you didn't give us your email address. And then what they do is they get the email flow. So send the email, they've not filled it in. If these people here, after 24 hours, they gave us their email address, but they didn't actually complete the type form. So what we're saying to these people is, again, in here, where are they? 24 hours. So 24 hours later, what we're saying to them is, let me just open this up and see what it actually says. Let's have a look at this. Where did you go? So again, making things really relevant. So by having these rules, as a messenger, you'll know that you probably has come to no surprise that you're going to expect this message. So after 24 hours, if somebody's been through the bot and they haven't filled it in. So even though we have got rules set up inside of this bot, but what this top section does is it just makes sure that if anybody's coming back into the bot, that again, you're giving them relevant messages. So as well as the bottom part that you saw in this bot has got rules, and we've got some extra messages that go inside of there, what the conditional logic's doing is it's just making sure that anybody who does come back in again, we're making sure that they take the right type of action as they go through. So I hope this has helped. And like I said, you can just make you can make it as complex or as simple as you like. Start simple. Just start really understanding, why you would want to use conditional logic. Every time you're using a bot, thinking, right, okay, how could I make this more relevant? Could I add some conditional logic here? You don't have to get conditional logic happy or anything like that, but certainly making it relevant. If you've got a bot where people do come back time and time again, if it's a restaurant and looking at the menu, it's like, hey, we can see that you've already been, you've checked out our menu before. Would you like us to email you when we have any new updates? Would you, what do you want to do? Do you want to book a table? So they might want to bypass the menu. They might not need to look at it because they go that many times. All they want to do is, actually, I'm going to just book a table. So again, think about how you can build conditional logic. Start with the basics and then just keep building on top of that as time goes by. So hope that helps, and that you've enjoyed this video. Share it with anybody if you think it's going to be of any use to them. Please do like our Facebook page, because I will be now sharing videos on here. It's not always going to be bots as well, because I'm quite geeky. So every time I find new tools and hacks and things like that, I'm like, I'll shoot a video for that. So you might find some random stuff now and again. If I find a cool tool like the noise cancelling app that I found the other week, then all that type of thing, anything like that, then do come and keep checking out the Facebook page, and they'll also be uploaded onto YouTube as well. So do go over to the Ribbit Media YouTube channel. I'll put the link as well in here. And also, if you want to sign up for the bot database contract, then feel free to go through, add your services, and don't be frightened about any of the questions. It's not to grill anybody. It's just that as work comes in, and we've given we've passed on quite a bit of work to some of the people that have come through as well. So hopefully we can help you as well. Maybe get some work from your bot building talent. So take care, and I'll see you next time.